And it's so, you've got no idea how I feel. Man, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Those were among the last words Ozzy Osbourne would ever speak to his fans. What nobody knew was that the Prince of Darkness had already made peace with his fate.
It's a fact. There's no need for a doctor to tell me. That farewell performance was something I insisted on doing. I don't want to disappear silently. I have to say goodbye in person.
Just hours before his death on July 22, 2025, Ozzy posted a backstage photo from his farewell concert with two haunting words, "Back to the beginning." But this wasn't just nostalgia. This was a man who knew exactly what was coming. The timing was too perfect. The farewell show titled "Back to the Beginning," the cryptic final post, the way he conducted his final weeks like a man settling his affairs. Something about Ozzy's death feels orchestrated not by outside forces, but by the man himself. On July 5, 2025, Ozzy Osbourne did something doctors said was impossible. Despite being unable to walk, despite Parkinson's disease ravaging his body for over 2 decades, he took the stage at Villa Park in Birmingham for what he called his final bow.
I've been laid up for like fucking 6 years. And it's so, you've got no idea how I feel. Man, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
He'd been essentially bedridden for 6 years, fighting a disease that was slowly stealing everything from him. But he found the strength for one last performance. The question isn't how he managed it. The question is why he felt so compelled to do it. Sharon had worked for an entire year to make this happen. But here's what's haunting: Ozzy didn't just perform because the show was organized. He insisted on it. He demanded it. Even when his body was failing, even when standing was agony, he refused to let his career end silently. The concert was billed as Back to the Beginning, the original Black Sabbath lineup, reuniting for what everyone knew would be the last time. Over 40,000 fans packed Villa Park, with 5.8 million more watching the livestream worldwide. Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Alice in Chains, and Metal Royalty performed as opening acts, but everyone was there for one reason: to witness history. Ozzy performed from a black leather throne because his legs could no longer support him. His voice, though, that unmistakable will that defined heavy metal, remained powerful. He belted out War Pigs, NIB, Iron Man, and Paranoid, each song feeling like a final prayer. The charity aspect adds another layer. All proceeds, reportedly $190 million, went to Birmingham Children's Hospital, Acorns Children's Hospice, and Cure Parkinson's. A man settling his earthly accounts, making sure his final act served others who were suffering.
I just want to say to you on behalf of the guys in Black Sabbath and myself, that your support over the years has made it all possible for us to live a lifestyle we live. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you, we love you.
That wasn't just gratitude. That was closure. A man saying goodbye not just to his fans, but to the life that had given him everything and taken everything away. The concert ended with him blessing the crowd. "Thank you. God bless you all." That's good night. 17 days later, he was gone. In the hours before his death, Ozzy Osbourne made one final post on Instagram. It wasn't a goodbye message. It wasn't a health update. It was a single backstage photo from his farewell concert, showing the sign above his dressing room door. His name was printed at the top, with photos of the original Black Sabbath lineup below. But it was the text that sent shivers through everyone who saw it. Back to the beginning. The final show. This wasn't nostalgia. This was a man who understood exactly what was happening to him.
You feel immortal?
No. I feel lucky to be alive, and not immortal, because I've done some pretty damn crazy stuff in my life.
He said, "I felt lucky to be alive." Past tense, not "I feel lucky to be living," or grateful for each day. Lucky to be alive, as if that luck was running out. And he knew it. The timing of that Instagram post is what makes it so haunting. Posted just hours before his death, it reads like a man who had already made his peace with fate. Not someone surprised by mortality, but someone who had been preparing for it throughout his final weeks. Ozzy's behavior suggested a man conducting a careful farewell tour of his own life. He spent time with each of his 6 children, created final memories with his grandchildren, and reconnected with longtime friends and bandmates. Every moment felt deliberately constructed. Every conversation carried the weight of finality. Kelly's engagement to Sid Wilson happened backstage immediately after the farewell concert.
You know I love you more than anything in the world.
Fuck up, you're not married more, do
Nothing would make me happier.
The timing wasn't coincidental. Ozzy had orchestrated that moment, making sure he could witness his daughter's happiness before his time ran out. He knew he wouldn't be around for the wedding, but he made sure he was there for the proposal. Photos. From that night show a man glowing with satisfaction not just from the performance, but from seeing his family's joy. But this careful orchestration of family moments didn't happen overnight, months earlier. As the weight of his declining health began to crush his spirit, Sharon noticed the warning signs. Her husband was drowning in what he later described as Doomtown, a place where each morning brought new physical failures and the crushing realization that his body was betraying him. His final act followed the same template. While the world saw a sick old man struggling with Parkinson's, Ozzy was quietly executing the most complex performance of his life, his own death. The evidence is in the details. The farewell concert wasn't booked because he was dying. It was booked because he wanted to control how his story ended. The charity donations weren't afterthoughts. They were deliberate, strategic choices meant to ensure his final act served a greater purpose. The family moments weren't spontaneous. They were carefully created opportunities to build lasting memories. Psychiatric evaluations throughout his life had always struggled to define him. He didn't fit into neat categories. He couldn't be controlled by conventional medical understanding. That same complexity gave him the clarity to face his own mortality in a way that stunned those around him. Was he incredibly lucky to have the farewell concert in Birmingham? Or was he incredibly strategic? The concert wasn't luck. It was the culmination of months of planning. The title Back to the Beginning wasn't chosen by chance. It was a deliberate way to frame his death not as an end, but as a full circle completion. In his final interviews, he didn't sound like someone fighting his condition. He sounded like someone who had accepted it and learned to work with it. The depression he described wasn't hopelessness. It was the emotional process of a man reckoning with his own mortality and making peace with it. People saw illness. They saw weakness. What they missed was the immense strength it took to stage such an intimate, profound farewell. Yes, the physical deterioration was real, but beneath it was an emotional and spiritual preparation few people ever reach. The genius of Ozzy's final act wasn't in the spectacle, it was in the subtlety. No dramatic farewell tour announcement, no countdown, no sobbing farewell videos, just a man quietly arranging his affairs, saying his goodbyes, and walking out on his own terms. His entire career was built on doing the impossible through sheer force of will. His death was no different. The final impossible dream executed with the same precision and intent that defined his life. The man who once promised to be the star at the Doomsday concert had kept his word. He didn't just die. He performed his death, turning his final exit into one last unforgettable show. Ozzy Osbourne's death wasn't the end of a story. It was the completion of a masterpiece that had been decades in the making. The Prince of Darkness had orchestrated his final act with the same attention to detail that made him a legend.
Unfortunately, we've come to our final song for ever. I just want to say to you on behalf of the guys in Black Sabbath and myself.
Those final words from the stage carried weight far beyond a typical concert farewell. That's good night, not see you next time. Not until we meet again. Just good night. Final. Complete. The end of the show. In the days following his death, tributes poured in from across the music world. Metallica, Elton John, members of Guns N' Roses, countless others shared memories and condolences. But what struck everyone wasn't just the grief. It was how prepared his family seemed, how organized the response was, how complete his final arrangements appeared to be. Even the official family statement reflected his meticulous planning. No shock, no confusion, no scrambling for words, a calm, prepared message from a family who had been given the time to process what was coming and say their goodbyes properly. The timing of everything, Kelly's engagement immediately after the concert, the charity donations already in motion, the final Instagram post, perfectly timed out. All of it suggests one thing: this wasn't a man who was taken by surprise. This was a man who had spent months choreographing his departure.
People take me or leave me. I mean, I'm just Ozzy Osbourne, and I always will be Ozzy Osbourne. I'm not going to be like Frank Sinatra. I mean, you couldn't imagine me like this going, "I'll do it my way," and all that, you know. It's not on, you know.
And that's exactly what he did. He did it his way, not out of defiance or rebellion, but with acceptance and meticulous preparation. The so-called madman had revealed himself to be a master of control, right up to the final moment. But here's what made his final act so remarkable. He managed to die exactly as he had lived, on his own terms, in control of the narrative, giving the people what they needed while protecting what mattered most to him, the man who spent decades shocking the world with chaos and unpredictability. Saved his most shocking act for last, a death that was completely predictable, thoroughly planned, executed with perfect timing. His legacy isn't just in the music. Sure, songs like Crazy Train and Iron Man will echo forever. And it's not just the cultural impact either. He helped invent reality television and redefine what it meant to be a rock star. But his real legacy, it's in proving that even death can be an act of creativity when approached with enough clarity, intention, and heart. The voice that held through it all, that's what people will remember. But those who truly paid attention to his final months will remember something deeper. The mind that held through everything, the intelligence behind every step, and the heart that made sure his last act served others, not just himself. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.